marched ahead. There will likely be a new line formed tomorrow afternoon, maybe at about where these occur, and then march farther to the east.
When does this impact Atlanta, do you think?
Well, I think probably
morning rush hour?
It's going to be around or just slightly before the morning rush hour. Probably, maybe it's going to be around 7 a.m. You can see the storms, while they move off pretty quickly to the north and east, they're not making very much net motion. They're moving almost along themselves. And so it could be quite a while yet before this line comes into Atlanta, quite a while before this line comes into the Montgomery area.
And Dr. Forbes, Greg Diamond, our producers, were telling me earlier that Georgia's already issued a state of emergency in advance of tomorrow's storms.
Yes, well done, I would say. Better be prepared than not. So it's going to continue to be yet again tomorrow a dangerous day.
All right, so Jefferson, Tuscaloosa counties. This is for the tail end supercell, which we know has produced damage, if you will, south of Tuscaloosa. We saw a picture earlier on Twitter of the students at the University of Alabama taking cover there. Again, the threat for Tuscaloosa has gone by about 30 minutes now, but we're watching the storm just north of the interstate. You know, the best circulation center just sitting north of the interstate here, probably coming up through Abernant, if not right now, very, very shortly. Johns as well, as you can see there, 10:59. Bessemer, you're in this at 11:12, and maybe Birmingham, certainly in very, very close to the city as we work our way toward 11:29. So in the next 30, 40 minutes or so.
Sarah, it's been a while, I think, since we covered this storm way down on the Mississippi-Alabama border, down east of the Waynesboro, Mississippi area.
This is the one that's been coming along I-20 and now going east of I-20.
Let's take a look at that one. There's still some tornado warnings on this one. Coming out of Mississippi, crossing the state line into Alabama.
Unfortunately, kind of in radar no man's
land.
Yeah,
it's not a good radar coverage area, but we're talking about Choctaw County, Washington County, Wayne County with a possible tornado
warning,
and the circulation back in here with a hook echo, and then off to the north of that, again, Choctaw and Wayne County. So two warnings for almost back to back there for this big cluster of thunderstorms that's running across the area near Silas and Milry and the Gilberttown area. I have this on high resolution radar, but as Jim was pointing out, it is an area that is not, we're not seeing things at very low levels. That said, there is broad rotation in two locations, one up near the Gilberttown area, another down just to the east of Waynesboro.
How high are we looking up?
Well, we're looking up in the Gilberttown area about 9,000 feet. In the area east of Waynesboro, about 8,500 feet. So we're seeing up in the storm, not down below cloud base by any means. Certainly indication here of some pretty big hail that is showing up in that area just east of Waynesboro.
Yeah,
I'm going to go to a different.
That's where the best couplet is, certainly, Greg. Even aloft.
Haven't done much of this tonight, but this is the echo top, and this darkest spot here. This is certainly the biggest, tallest storm that we have now going on tonight. This is showing 53,500 feet, so this is pretty close to 10 miles tall, a little over 10 miles tall, actually, down in the area south and east of Waynesboro, Mississippi.
Sarah, as soon as Greg is finished up here, we just got a new tornado warning out for McMinn and Monroe in Tennessee.
Yes, in Tennessee.
And since those storms earlier looked
radar indicated thus far, but we'll check it out.
Yeah, I just want to see what's going on up there because again, guys, we're watching clusters coming in from Mississippi to Alabama. We're watching storms again southwest of Birmingham now, which have produced a tornado had a tornado on the ground earlier that has potentially ceased for the moment. That may happen again, and of course now we're up here south of Crossville, up in the beautiful Cumberland Plateau of eastern Tennessee, looking at the Athens area, and here you can see this storm. You know, kind of stands out here, Greg. A little supercell kind of on the east side of this thing, rolling up toward Lenore, right up 411 there, and there's the couplet.
Yeah, I'm in here
probably getting more
re-queuing. Give me a minute here to re-queue the high-resolution radar.
Towns, again, right up 41 here, Athens, Madisonville, Sweetwater, if you're up in through here. This is the storm right here. This is the signature. As Sarah mentioned, it is a radar indicated. We don't have any confirmation that this is on the ground, but there's enough confidence from the meteorologists, the National Weather Service, that say, hey, we have enough evidence here that we should issue a tornado warning, and that's exactly what they've done. And what Greg's doing offline here is taking a look at the high-resolution radar up in that area, and he is going to show us some of the products that may give us a better idea of why they gave that warning.
Well, what certainly caught my attention was this big, what could be a debris ball, or just in between Athens, Tennessee, and Englewood. But let me circle that here. It is not co-located with the strongest rotation signature. The strongest rotation signature, I'll draw that one in red, is right about here. And taking a look at the correlation coefficients, seems like there's a little bit of debris signature in the northern one. So I'm a little suspicious that this could be a debris signature that would be heading across from just east of Athens, Tennessee, the University of Tennessee there, if I recall correctly,
yep.
Up into the Madisonville, Tennessee area. This storm is moving almost due to the north and east. Just switch to this. So I want to step back in time, one time step there, and see if we have any trend. Looks like it's trending to be increasing in terms of its intensity, and that certainly is not a good
reason
thing.
why we probably saw the warning come out as well.
Exactly. The next storm off to the north that has a tornado warning, that one a well-defined hook echo that is here in the areas near and just to the south of Lenoir City, that is heading up just to the north of Friendsville, up toward the Rockford area. Let me take a look at the velocities on this one. A little bit of a circulation that's showing up in that location. I don't think we'll see a correlation coefficient on that. There are some spots there. Let me see how that matches up with the return. That's in clear air mode, so I think that's probably just noise. But certainly doing the very vigilant National Weather Service is warning for a couple of still pretty strongly rotating storms up in the eastern parts of Tennessee.
I'm going to share some.
By the way, there's actually a new tornado watch for eastern Tennessee. This is a particularly dangerous situation watch until 1 a.m. Eastern time, so we're within that region right now.
So they think long track?
Yeah, long track,
or is there a
potentially
different
strong to
criteria
violent.
up there?
No, this is issued by the Storm Prediction Center, so that means that there could be long-lived and particularly a chance for strong to violent tornadoes.
80% probabilities F2 to F5, Dr. Ford.
Wow, that is pretty high.
That's pretty high. So everything that we watch kind of pivot through Alabama and Mississippi is going to pivot up in eastern Tennessee and create these same parameters, because we haven't used any of this air yet for the most part.
Definitely a dangerous situation continuing.
This one's moving northeast at 50, so I'm going to time this out a little bit.
You're not going to see these, folks. So again, given what we've seen, the evidence tonight, just take the warning seriously. Spend the night down in the basement. Make a night out. I know it's getting late, and some of you may just get woken up with thunder. But if you've got a tornado warning, if you've got your weather radio on, or however you use to warn yourself, make sure you take these situations serious, especially when we have a PDS watch out.
Yeah, and this, I should point out, is in an eastern time zone, and so it is past some of these locations are past midnight as the tornado is approaching. So a lot of folks may have gone to sleep. Let's hope and pray that they have some way that they're going to get awakened in the middle of the night as these storms are coming in with a chance of strong tornadoes.
How many warnings do we have out now? About half a dozen?
Yeah, we have quite a few.
It's been a while since we've gone past midnight.
We have warnings all the way from southeast Tennessee up into northern Alabama, down into the Mississippi-Alabama border.
All right, certainly signatures of supercells here all the way up in eastern Tennessee. Do we want to head back down? Do you want to do some more analysis on Tennessee?
Yeah, let's go back down toward
Birmingham.
Let's go back into...
This Tuscaloosa storm's still worried to be headed towards Birmingham, and on the ground, as best we know, still.
Oh, and it's wrapped up itself a little bit there. Well-defined hook echo, wrapping up with a well-defined rotation. Ooh, that's probably the tornado right there, just to the west of Abernant.
Let's see
with a big, broad rotation.
Resolution. And while you're doing that, Greg, speaking of this storm, we got a couple more pictures out of Tuscaloosa. Look at the lightning. Look at that. Madison sending us that picture there, just incredible lighting up the sky. And I think there's another one that actually illuminates a funnel cloud or potentially a part of the tornado. Look at this, Greg Forbes. You seeing this? I mean, I can't really tell what that is, but
it's probably a wall cloud that is hanging down would be my best guess.
Certainly could be a wall cloud.
Wall cloud or a funnel cloud.
That's the saving grace of all the lightning. If you want to get confirmation of that instead of just head for the basement, at least the lightning may give you a chance to do that. But we advise, obviously, that you just get out of harm's way. All right, let's get the high resolution radar up.
in that last scan, we've seen the velocity really tighten up there as it has gone now from due west of Abernant off to the north and west of Abernant. So definitely in the eastern part of Tuscaloosa County, not the city of Tuscaloosa itself, a dangerous tornado. And did we get report that this was in progress?
I believe
When's the last time we had it on the ground?
Double checking that now.
I think it's been a while.
I believe it's been since Brookwood at least.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let me go to
but the point is this is something. Yeah. This is a new tightening. Okay, so this may be
a new tightening,
cycling that's going on with this storm.
And the body of the storm coming across the North Johns, the Bessemer area. So this is continuing to head probably something very much like that, with a broad area of possible rotation. That's what the storm relative velocities are showing. But a very tight chunk of rotation right about in there. Let's see where that is. This is going to be wrapped in the rain.
Let's see if we got a debris signature.
See if we have a debris signature that's showing up with that one. We sure do.
We do.
So there it is. Definitely a tornado would appear to be in progress, and that may be wrapped in the rain. Let me zoom in just a little bit tighter. Again, you wouldn't have necessarily thought to have a tornado. The great advances in technology as the National Weather Service radars have been outfitted with this dual pole. What we're seeing here is the fact that the tumbling debris doesn't look quite the same from when you scan it in the vertical as in the horizontal. It doesn't correlate very well, so we get this low blue signature when that happens, and that is showing up there. That is going to be coming toward the North Johns area. And very likely to be coming almost due toward North Johns or within a mile south of North Johns area. It does have a rather tight circulation there, embedded in a larger circulation.
Sarah had a great point. You know, and both of us were kind of wondering how long has this been on the ground. We can go back and look at these debris signatures.
Yeah, in fact,
and get an idea if it's been on the ground continuously.
I can pull up the shear track.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's pull up the shear track.
However you want to do
it, and take a look at the shear track.
There are ways to go back and look for evidence in a situation where we may not get a report. Remember, guys, it's night. It is 11 o'clock in the Central Time Zone. People are taking cover. This is Alabama, so. You know, we certainly know they're no stranger to tornadoes. We know they're taking cover here, so we're not going to get a lot of confirmation.
So what you're seeing here, folks, is sort of what, if you've been watching all night, that normalized tornado intensity that I've been showing. This is a computation of how rapidly the winds are changing in a horizontal distance. It's a measure of the rotation intensity of the storm. So the one that is now off to the east of Tuscaloosa went south of Tuscaloosa. That has been going from all the way in the southwest part of Tuscaloosa County. Now it is across the entire big county and is almost about ready to go out of Tuscaloosa into Jefferson County with the strong rotation showing up across there. So we've had reports of tornadoes in a number of locations along the way there, and that's going to continue.
Does that show, if you will, the cycling?
It may show some cycling.
A little bit. I'm just trying to figure out what this rotate, because the colors drop out. There's a little bit of a sequence to it.
Well, some of that is because we only get the radar every 5 minutes.
Okay.
And so I think that some of these little step are something more to do with a sampling of the radar than they are with quick intensification or de-intensification. That said, this change here, when it went from blue and then had a gap and then went back into more of the purple shade, suggests right in there might have been a brief weakening and then an intensification as it came up toward I-20 in that first crossing with Highway 11 as it was south and east of Tuscaloosa. It looks like it's more or less held its sheer 82 mile per hour as we're showing up there. So that's the difference in the velocity across the circulation rotation there.
And that isn't a measure of the winds with the tornado?
No, it's just a measure of the broad storm rotation. So that is heading to the area just to the south of Birmingham, heading up toward, looks like this one might go a little south of Birmingham unless it takes a left turn. But Birmingham is in the tornado warning, and Jefferson and Tuscaloosa counties.
It looks like it's going to come pretty close to the interstate, too, we should mention, coming into Birmingham. I-20 comes right across here and then drops. So, you know, you're in the rain now, and all of a sudden you may get a little bit of a break, and here comes this this storm right over the interstate again with potentially a tornado. And as Greg was showing recently, this has tightened up a bit. We've got a debris signature that is heading toward Johns, North Johns, and that area needs to be watched certainly as it comes close to Birmingham. So Sarah's timed this out for us. Johns again, pretty much in the next few minutes. 11:26 would be Bessemer. 11:39 Fairfield, Birmingham about 11:54.
Okay, confirmed tornado still near Abernant.
Yeah.
So we're still thinking this thing is on the ground.
And right now, it's probably just a little bit to the west side of the interstate, but if it turns any away from due northeast and a little bit more, just a 10-degree angle toward the right, would take it, as Jim was saying, over the interstate.
But yeah, this is the part that I'm concerned about. It kind of lips out away from Birmingham. It could come pretty close. And there, you know, we know. Trust me, I've been on the road late at night. And there's just a tremendous amount of traffic on the road. A lot of commerce moves on I-20. So just be careful out there if you're a trucker. If you can get some words out to your trucking friends, tell them to be careful around Birmingham, especially coming into from the Atlanta side, because they're about to run into a heck of a storm.
Yeah, that little, there's Abernant, so that little debris signature that I was seeing is now just to the north and east of Abernant, heading toward the Johns area, heading toward the Bessemer area, heading toward the Birmingham area.
All right, guys, let's go back up to Tennessee for the time being, and then we'll drop down
we have a new
here.
warning, Jim and Dr. Forbes. I've had Jennifer Watson take a look at this. So
North
right now
Carolina.
these are radar
West of
indicated, but
Asheville.
this new one here is just west of Asheville, North Carolina. Hard to pick something up on radar.
Beautiful
Maybe getting a
Haywood
little
and Jackson counties. A lot of these
little
counties
beam
up here,
blockage there, and I guess or something
tremendously
in level 2.
rural and really almost entirely national weather or national forests up here, Greg, for us.
Yeah, a tight little, a much smaller storm than what we're seeing down in the Birmingham area, but a tight little supercell, has that kidney bean shape with a little appendage coming down the southwest side. So coming up toward Waynesville as it comes across Haywood and Jackson counties in southwest parts of North Carolina.
This almost is a little kind of a double take on what we saw in Atlanta earlier, right?
Yes.
We saw these kind of renegade storms develop near Atlanta while everything was going on west of Birmingham. Now everything's moved east, and we're seeing another round of these renegade storms.
Well, and it also has a little bit of a reminiscence to what happened on the night of April 27th into April 28th, 2011, the super outbreak 2011. The storms that had been giving the violent tornadoes in Mississippi and northern Alabama. As we got up into the evening hours, they worked across, and the night hours, they worked up across Georgia, they worked into East Tennessee, they worked into western North Carolina. In fact, there were more tornadoes in Tennessee that night than there were in any of the other states, giving Tennessee the record for the number, I believe 74 tornadoes, the most tornadoes in a day for any state in the United States came from that
goodness.
situation on the night of April 27th, 28th, 2011.
Sarah, you mentioned the watch for Eastern Tennessee. Does it go into western North Carolina?
I don't believe so. It has one extreme southwestern county just here in the tip of North Carolina. It does not include this storm.
All right. Well, again, guys, if you're watching, here's Asheville. Off to the west, you get into Waynesville. It looks like it's coming. Whatever this is, this little kidney bean here, heading up toward the Waynesville area.
This watch also includes some of the northwest Georgia counties like Dade, Walker, Whitfield, Murray.
Okay. So, so Chattanooga. That area
Yes,
again?
and that is the PBS tornado watch until 1 a.m.
All right,
Eastern.
slide up toward Tennessee. Let's get an idea of what
Okay.
we're dealing with here. Again, we're going to jump across the Smoky Mountains, jump west of Pigeon Forge. Let's look at this storm that's going to head into Knoxville. Even though it's only severe thunderstorm warned at the present time. Slide up a little bit, Sarah. It's going to be north of Lanier. Knoxville's going to be under the tornado warning thing up there. Sarah? Copy that? Right up here. Just go up this way. And we'll see. So Knoxville's right under. I'll just do this. Knoxville is right under the R here in tornado warning, and this little storm right here is heading off toward the north and east. So even though it's only got a severe thunderstorm warning with it, like the storm north of Birmingham, it's got enough of an appendage here that's certainly something to worry about. So here's Knoxville. Here's the little appendage heading off toward the north and east. Tornado warned storms off to the southwest. Cities like Madisonville, this is Monroe County, that is under a tornado warning. I believe this is radar indicated, as Sarah has talked about earlier. All of this, by the way, is east of I-75 right now. So here's 75 right here. And you can see these storms moving up 411, heading toward Vonore. east or west, I should say, of Tellico Plains, Etowah. You're on to the second storm, but the storm that's actually tornado warned on now is this one up into Monroe. What Greg Forbes is doing is getting the higher resolution radar up in that area and possibly even into western North Carolina as well. Take it away, Greg Forbes.
But I'm not getting really any, ooh, maybe I am. It's somehow on the wrong elevation angle. So here is the storm with a high resolution radar, and it's still not a very large storm. This is the one that's coming up toward generally the areas west and southwest of Asheville, North Carolina, toward the Waynesville, North Carolina area. It's a pretty small storm there in terms of its width, but let's see, I'm not seeing any correlation coefficient with that. A little bit of rotation that's showing up right about there, just to the east of the Silva area.
Which radar are you
This
using?
is the Greenville-Spartanburg
okay,
radar.
perfect,
Seems to be the closest one, but that said, we have lots of hills, and this is pretty far away from the radar. So I'm not getting, basically it's an area near Webster, near Silva, heading off toward the north and east. I'm not getting a whole lot of additional information because it's far enough away, and
right,
we're seeing pretty far from the radar here.
Go back down to Birmingham. Let's go down to the population now. I want to show you guys a chaser video from John Brown. He was in the Birmingham area, or heading toward Birmingham, I should say. This is a live feed here from John. He is looks to be pulled over here, at least temporarily. But look at the lightning. I mean, almost just a continuous flash of lightning. And if you have to see the tornado tonight, if there is one, you're probably going to see it with these flashes going on. But believe me,
impressive on Max 6, guys, of the previously Tuscaloosa storm.
Oh, look at that wrapped
Jefferson
up.
County.
That's the hook.
Yeah, it has a very nice hook with it. I also
we'll leave that up too. Again, do you, tell me, Scott, tell me how far he is, if you will, if you can find that out from Birmingham. Which side of Birmingham is he on as well?
Okay,
just so I can get an idea.
Kim Cunningham told me they now have 2 tornadoes confirmed near Johns.
Yeah.
Okay, we knew that one was coming, right? North Johns, right?
There we go. So these are our 2 circulations right here.
Yeah, look at that.
One.
Yeah, there's definitely 2 circulations that are showing up there on, I also was looking at it on the high resolution radar. So
the parent one, though, is the north one, right, Gary? That's the one we've seen the debris signature with.
so
this is a new one? Or?
Well, the hook is with this one.
Oh, it's gone out that, okay.
But I would have to go and track back and see what the history has been. This has been one that has had the best circulation previously, was sort of up in the northern one. So the northern one is probably the older of the circulations, and the southern one is probably down now, the new formation, the new cycling down in the core of the hook.
Okay.
Let me pull up and so here, let me pull up the velocities. So on this one, we have 1 circulation center. The stronger of the 2 now is down, one west of North Johns, the other south and east of North Johns, both of which
have signatures.
Debris signatures showing up with them. And in the context of Jim's question, the northern one would probably be the older one that has come up. It's gotten itself embedded in the rain. Some of the rain-cooled air has wrapped around, the roof-flank downdraft has wrapped around, formed a new hook echo with warm air that is coming in. And so this is likely to be the one that is going to probably continue farther along. We might expect the one that's west of North Johns to weaken, the one that's south of North Johns to intensify and continue up toward the Bessemer and toward the Birmingham metro area.
And that said, with this new formation, now you've taken a couplet and put it down almost on the interstate.
Yeah, right? This is getting very close to the interstate.
We just showed you, and you'll there it is right there. John's on the move again. John Brown, he is right here near the Bessemer area. All right, so whatever is coming is going to come right at him pretty soon here. So this will be interesting to watch.
That adds a little light then, if that's his location. He's seeing one of these that I've been calling these inflow bands, these arms that come in. He's on the interstate, so he's about to get that first band come through.
It's pouring right now.
Yeah, and a new scan has come in. I don't like what I'm seeing there.
Yeah, John,
I'm seeing
if somebody's talking to him
ball
on the phone, and I know he's probably an experienced chaser here as well, make sure he knows that there's a new vortex on this line.
Emergency coming for Jefferson County again, just relayed by Jennifer Watson.
just within the
Look at that.
past 5 minutes, a new scan has come in.
Just 1 minute ago, Dr. Forbes.
And it has
And the debris ball, they're
very
seeing that.
tight, a new debris ball, a very tight circulation that is going to be heading up toward the Bessemer area of Alabama. And let me go back to the traditional traditional portrayal here. And
so that's the debris ball.
That's the one that is we talked about. The old tornado was off to the west of North Johns there. I was saying that the new hook had formed south and east of North Johns, and that was the one that was likely to continue. That indeed is what we've just seen here. Debris ball has formed. Let me zoom in just a little bit on this. And that said, I'm thinking that the hook echo may be surging, that the rain-wrapped air might surge ahead of this. So for the moment, this is a little bit like El Reno, that it has fanned the weak circulation as this rift-like downdraft has come around, fanned and intensified the tornado. But that may cause this tornado to take a little bit of a left turn, wrap it in rain. A scary situation for this happening now at night as well. But definitely there, very strong rotation that is showing up. A correlation signature that has an extremely well-defined, and in this case, the correlation coefficient hole here is about 1 mile wide, and the velocities that we're showing up here have one peak there at about 81 miles per hour and about 78 miles per hour. So strong rotation. This is up in the storm altitudes. We're up at about 1,100 feet. So this is near cloud base, maybe a little bit below cloud base, but definitely a tornado that is in progress and heading from up toward the Bessemer area of Alabama, south and west of Birmingham.
When did that new scan come in, do you know?
That new scan came in. This is 12:10 Eastern Time or 11:10 Central Time.
Right, so we're about to get a new picture. Guys, if we can get John on the phone, or if hopefully he's with somebody, just to talk about where they are exactly.
Here
would
was
be great.
the scan 5 minutes prior to that. We had that open little hook that I was pointing at, and now I'll take you to the most current one. And that hook has completely wrapped around, and there is the hook, and the tornado with the debris ball has formed right in that. So it is definitely heading off toward the north and east. May actually stay west of the interstate and go up into the area
I hope so.
just a couple miles northwest of Bessemer at the rate that it's going. Now that said, sometimes you could get yet another cycling that takes place in that little protrusion right in there. The normalized rotation, though, is showing there is the gust front that I've been talking about. The rain-cooled air has wrapped around, kicked the gust front out to the east. Tornado right up on the north edge of that with the very strong tornado signature showing up.
Tornado emergency for Huey Town, and looks like I just got another scan updating here. This is in Jefferson County, Huey Town.
Yeah, it's going off to the north and east, so
how far is that
it's
away?
going to be close to and west of Bessemer, up toward Huey Town, up toward the Brighton area. Right now, it is, I'll check it out.
Again,
Right now is about 7 miles, so that is very close. 7 miles or less southwest of Hueytown and the Brighton area. So this area
Within 5 to 10 minutes,
is where it's going to be moving, and moving very quickly.
The latest storm relative velocities have come in. Looks like it's gotten even stronger here. I don't know if your scan has updated yet.
No,
Dr.
my scan
Ford.
is not yet updated.
It'll be in. It'll be in within about 60 seconds. But again, guys, in case you're just joining us, we've watched a very strong new rotation form on the third supercell of the night, the one that certainly is heading up toward the Birmingham metropolitan area. Bessemer, again, very close to the interstate. Greg, look at this. Looks like we're maybe getting a new one down here. But here's the main.
Yeah, it could be cycling. That's
Here's the
certainly
main circulation. Oh, look at this. 3 potential.
Well,
or is that something else going? But this has been the debris that we've been watching.
This is the tornado right in about this location, and the storm relative velocities showing the tornado there, very intense.
And you match
this
that up.
this is the gust front that is pushing out to the south and east, and that has that has some signature, but the debris signature is right about in here. In terms of we did have more than one tornado that were being reported, and so there's some other places in here that are suggesting that there's still, in fact, could be more than one tornado located. These other two.
Is there anything on the signet and on the velocity?
Not
really. Not enough to say that.
Only a little bit. This is probably that old one we had. Remember previously we had one southeast and one west of North Johns. This would be the continuation of that one. This is the one that I said that I thought a new cycle would form.
Right.
That is that one, and I don't know what the one that is almost right over North Johns right now would be. That may be just a noise because we have a low return area there. So still seems as if there is one tornado north of North Johns and then another that is in the area that is coming toward the Bessemer, the Hueytown area. Dangerous storm.
I've got this timed out to Birmingham over the next, well, roughly 40 minutes.
All right, let's go ahead and check it out for you here, guys.
Hueytown, they are under a tornado emergency already. Hueytown on that projected path could go to Birmingham.
Right, so Greg, the couplet that Greg's talking about is right here now, and it's going to quickly move off to Hueytown. Stay hopefully just to the north of I-20, but you see how I-20 kind of jets out a little bit there. That it's going to come very, very close to the interstate here, and then eventually again potentially right into the city of Birmingham. And if we see another trend where this particular part of the storm weakens, and then we may get a new storm that develops along the gust front, we may actually bring it south of the interstate or even closer into the city. But again, that's just speculation. Right now, we're going to watch the parent storm, which is producing a tornado. We've got a debris signature.
And so here's the high definition. There is the tornado that had the strongest debris signature 5 minutes ago. Had a real well-defined debris ball. It still has a debris ball, but it had the purple core to it. Very concerned about a new circulation that may form here, and as Jim was saying, that would carry to the north. Jim was saying there's a jet westward of the interstate, and so this one could get close to Hueytown. Beyond that, it could come up to the Fairfield area along I-20. So,
guys, how's John doing with the lightning feed? I mean, where is he right now? Do we know? Okay, so he's pretty much okay, so he's streaming with his phone. We can't contact him, but he's shown just a tremendous amount of lightning with that. I mean, there you can see it right there. Looks like he's kind of waiting, which is good because we have something certainly very, very close to him right now, probably within a 4-mile radius or 4 miles to probably to his west-northwest from where he is.
Yeah, and if we know his location, if he's near Bessemer, that is that little inflow arm that is coming in right over top of him. You're seeing a lot of low-hanging scud clouds.
Yep,
but as soon as that goes by, he is going to have a tornado that's going to be within a few miles of him, maybe off to his west or southwest.
Yeah, just a continual flash right there. So
the latest warning says tornado possible near Bessemer anytime, also near McCalla. So he's got to be getting really, really close.
And a new scan has come in, and so let me show you the previous scan here. There is where the tornado was 5 minutes ago. I was saying that I thought a new tornado could form down in that along the gust front, that forward protrusion. So let me step forward in time, and we'll see. Look how that one is now taking over, and the storm relative velocities here are showing the original.
I don't think that's caught up yet.
Back here, yeah, it's not caught up yet, but I think now we're going to have the velocities not quite caught up to the but pretty clearly now we have
that's
multiple
why we
tornadoes.
Saw that multiple debris signature.
One here, and I think a third one up in there. I think the correlation coefficient, the debris signatures haven't quite caught up yet either. But
yes, they're saying debris and large tornado on broadcast media video. Not sure if this is Chaser or local media that they're seeing it, but someone is saying large tornado possible.
And this one now
confirming large tornado or possible.
The new hook is right on I-20 now, southwest of Bessemer, and going to be heading up into the Bessemer area.
I have the Bessemer here tracking on Max with the street level mapping. If you guys want to see that, just southeast of Hueytown.
But Greg, that's right over the interstate.
Yeah, this is right over the interstate now. That's that new hook that has formed. Now that said, there are more than one circulation,
right?
And so put the regular.
The question is, which one is the
Well,
large
this is
tornado?
going to be the new one.
It's going to be
this is going to be the one that it is the one that's likely to last the longest. This one is likely to come up toward Huey and weaken. This one is likely to keep going up the areas along the interstate, or maybe just to the turning slightly to the east of the interstate.
And once we get north of Bessemer, I mean, and really right around Bessemer, the population really starts to expand in through here. So.
Although what we've noticed on the previous one is that the rear flank downdraft is pretty strong on these. That is liable to make this one take a left turn also and angle its way up, continuing along the interstate. So. And maybe a new hook then will form, and another tornado will come in. So again, projecting forward in a supercell environment like this that evolves very rapidly, it's very much like trying to anticipate what was happening in El Reno, Oklahoma, back last May, when it was taking a left turn, being fanned by strong rear flank downdrafts, and the massive rain that's down on this south edge of the supercell is indicating that we're getting a lot of that heavy rain that could very well be pushing that tornado up toward the north and east, rather than having it carry a little bit more east-northeast.
All right, so yeah, widen this out just a hair. Click out a little bit, Sarah. I want everybody to see Birmingham right in through here. You can see Bessemer, which the storm is pretty much going to be when they see the next scan right on top of. So this is coming right up the interstate, or very, very close. And if you know, Greg's mentioning multiple circulations on the gust front, and of course now the hook itself is the strongest one, which is where we have the large tornado. This was just reported. So midfield, keep an eye out, 1140 Birmingham, about 1157. That's holding true to time. That's about the second time we've seen that now in terms of the time. We've been talking to John Brown. You see his feed there. He is moving northeast, apparently, along I-20. So he potentially is heading away from this thing and staying in the rain.
Ah, good for him.
Yes. Because, I mean, look at that. Here's the interstate right here. You come out of that rain, nothing, and then boom.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
That's exactly right.
And
we've been talking about this cycling, and so there are two spots here. The new hook is formed. There is the previous tornado, and there was actually a third one up here that was the one before that. And so now if we go to the velocities, the new scan has come in and updated. There we have the new tornado right along the interstate, the previous tornado, and the third one that has gone up farther into the rain has weakened. Taking a look at the correlation coefficients, the debris signatures, very well defined debris still with the tornado number 2. The brand new tornado here is number 3, also has a very well defined debris signature. So dangerous storm. The one that is right over the interstate is the one that now has the most intense rotation, and that is the one that is right inside the hook echo. Pretty much as I was indicating that I thought that would take over. This one may cycle.
Is this going to come right into Bessemer?
Up into Bessemer by the looks of things, and the Bessemer and the Brighton areas. Let's see if I can shift my position on here just a little bit. And
we just got word, Greg Forbes, forgive me for interrupting you, but Stephanie Abrams and Al Roker, as you know, are in Birmingham. We've been talking to them earlier this evening. Stephanie has just informed us that she is taking shelter with other people in the hotel's safe room, which is apparently their ballroom. I mean, obviously, this is in Birmingham, so they're getting people ready for this storm, which, as we saw from the Weather Service, and as Greg has been mentioning and Sarah's been tracking for us, this has a pretty high confidence to come right into the Birmingham metropolitan area. So, downtown Birmingham, I should say. Bessemer, you are next in line. Greg's been pointing out
and
multiple
Bessemer's
circulations.
Getting hit right now.
Yeah.
The brand new has come in. So there was our.
Let's pull this down.
There was our original rotation, our original tornado weakening. The new tornado coming right up, maybe just slightly south of the interstate, within that hook echo, and that is right over the Bessemer area right now. Here is the new and a debris ball showing up with that. So we're talking about right over Bessemer. And with a very well-defined debris signature. Emergency situation for Bessemer in Alabama here with very strong velocities. debris ball, debris signature showing up on the Doppler radar. Bessemer being hit with a tornado right now.
Very dangerous situation here in the Birmingham metropolitan area.
Sarah,
Al Roker's,
zoom in, Sarah, and give us some, let's see some street mapping and so on in this Bessemer area.
Al, let's talk to you for a second here. Like Stephanie, you also, from what we understand, are being moved to a safe place in the hotel?
Yeah, we're all going to the ballroom, I believe it is. They came over the emergency broadcast speaker system here and said they're moving everybody to the ballroom.
Zoom in a little more. It's the southern one.
Okay. I mean, was this just something that kind of came on in like the middle of the night? I know you're sleeping. You're trying to get a little rest before you get up in the morning. But is it just is it a siren that initiates it? Is it a loudspeaker?
The siren came. The sirens were going, and then loudspeaker. The hotel, loudspeaker over the hotel said, let's move to the ballroom, which I guess is the most interior section of the hotel. Interestingly enough, it's a hotel that has, like a lot of hotels, it's got an atrium.
Right.
And so,
right.
And all the rooms are exposed to an exterior hallway that looks out onto the atrium. So there's not a lot of cover, if you will. And I can tell you the cable is now out. Your signal for the Weather Channel is out on the TV. So
that's another thing. A lot of people losing power.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be able to see whether you're watching us or anybody for that matter. You got to heed these warnings. Al, I mean, you're away from all the windows though, right?
Yeah, we're away from windows. But the interesting thing is again. The roof is glass. Now, again, it's not like anything's going to happen to that. But, if a tornado were to pass over, this thing is, right now, it's just flashing. The lightning is flashing literally all around the hotel. So that, it's a very eerie effect.
I bet. Good luck with that atrium, Al. And you know what? Maybe the bathroom is a better choice. Unfortunately.
Control room, could you put max 6 in the right panel?
You've got you basically got, you've got glass in the main hallways of the hotel. You've got, there's not a lot in the bathrooms here. So I guess that as far as the emergency management of the hotel, they feel the ballroom, which is probably the interior section of the building, is the safest place to go.
All right, Al, talk with us a little bit later on. Certainly update us on the situation. Let's get to Greg Forbes. We have a dangerous situation right now. A tornado is moving through downtown Bessemer.
Tornado is right over downtown Bessemer, Alabama. This is a few minutes ago when the last radar scan came in. I've been measuring. It's depending on using the size of the debris ball, the tornado is likely to be a quarter mile to 3/4 of a mile wide. So we're not talking one street that's being affected here in Bessemer. We're talking many streets, probably all the way from about 18th Avenue North and the J. Terrell Wooten Drive across Bessemer down into probably areas just almost near the Clarendon Avenue area, and heading up toward 27th Street, heading up toward 5th Street North, and going to graze probably parts of Brighton, the southern parts of Brighton, as it heads off toward the north and east. So extremely dangerous storm. It is hitting Bessemer, Alabama right now with a dangerous situation.
I've just been told, too, if you lose power, you can watch us online. Apparently we're streaming our coverage online right now. Is that correct, Scott, before I go further with this? We have it on our mobile devices, not on internet. Okay, so you can watch us on the Weather Channel app right now. You can keep an eye on what's going on in Birmingham. So, guys, be safe, and if you lose power again, we'll catch you on mobile.
Debris ball showing up here right over Bessemer. Correlation coefficient, the debris signature showing up right over Bessemer, and the storm velocities showing the tornado right over Bessemer. Looking ahead to this, it is heading off toward the north and east. The next community in line is going to be Lipscomb, probably going to graze some of the southern suburbs of the Brighton area as well. So
bring up that map. I think you made an excellent point in talking about how you know, this isn't just a couple of streets here. I mean, we've got blocks that are being impacted.
Yeah, and here is the debris ball signature now. There's the tornado signature. So this is a big chunk of Bessemer, and now we've had a new signature come in. So it's now out of the Bessemer area and up into the areas heading south of Fairfield and
that's where
south
Lipscomb
and
was,
east
you
of,
talked about.
that's the Lipscomb area is where it is located right now. So let me take a look and see what kind of...
Sarah, anything on chat?
No, nothing yet. Tornado emergency still in effect.
Right.
Actually, Tim at Fox 6 was saying that they have seen the tornado go by the Bessemer camera. So it's past Bessemer possibly already?
It is definitely past Bessemer. It's up into the area now around the Lipscomb area. So there is Bessemer. The new velocity signature has come in. It is not as, we no longer have a debris ball that's showing up, but it is in this Lipscomb area, tornado right about in there. And with all the rest of this green and red, part of the gust front that is riding along. So tornado is now coming through and beyond Lipscomb, continuing up, probably around Jefferson Avenue and heading into Birmingham.
Jefferson Avenue takes you right into Birmingham.
Coming right into Birmingham.
That's the next in line here. By the way, we've been talking, or actually seeing John Brown's stream tonight from his phone, and you can see again constant lightning flashes. He's been moving away from the storm, which we're very happy about. He's up in Fairfield, so he's actually northwest of Bessemer, Greg Forbes.
And my best analysis here would be that the storm is again cycling, that what we're seeing is sort of this clockwise shape, this backward C shape that the storm is probably gusting at. The outflow maybe is dominating for the moment, but that still could cycle again and re-intensify. We've lost that debris ball, but it definitely could re-intensify again as it comes into parts of the Birmingham metro.
Could it cycle east of the city?
Well, it could cycle a little bit. If I had to bet, I would guess that it would maybe cycle coming into the Homewood area, which is on the south side of the city. But right at the moment, and let's take a look here. Right at the moment, there is what has been the remnants of the debris ball coming right up into Birmingham. I'm thinking that this area here, just following the analogy of what has already happened, that this would be the next formation, that this one will continue. It might continue far enough along that it gets into at least the southwest parts of Birmingham. Following the model that this storm has been setting for us, the next one might come up into the Homewood area and then continue up into parts of the south side of the Birmingham metro. Let me see if we have a new correlation coefficient come in. New storm velocities. The velocities have weakened. So as I say, for the moment, it seems like it's weakened.
That's good.
But brand new tornado warning has been issued. It looked like
we got a
brand new tornado warning for the city of Birmingham.
But the thing with this is, is this the break before it ramps up again? Because we've seen about one scan where there's a debris ball, it cycles, debris ball. So,
this has been cycling very fast. In a lot of the tornadoes in the past that I've studied, they would cycle about every 45 minutes. It seems like this has been cycling about every 10, 15 minutes, something like that. So kind of a high precipitation supercell, it cycles very fast as opposed to more ordinary supercells that take a long. Yeah, you got so much rain there that the rain wraps around it very quickly. There's the shear indicator.
This is an idea of where we watch this, and actually you can see these.
You can see
all
the
circulations.
Yeah. There's the 1, 2, and now the third.
The third one, which has been the main one,
has been the main one.
So, like you said, if trends continue,
probably going to be a fourth one that will come up in this general area.
So this is the same supercell. It's just been circulating
just cycling around. Its rain-cooled outflow makes it keep taking a step. It sort of goes a step, and then it sort of takes a little side step, and then continues off
forward, one step to the right,
and then one step to the right, and it continues along, and then another step to the right and continues along. Let's hope it keeps stepping, and not that we want to wish anything bad on the people in the south side of, but at least in terms of the people in downtown Birmingham, we hope that it keeps stepping to the right like this.
Again, whether you're watching us on the mobile app this evening or watching us online from the rest of the country, we've been talking to Stephanie Abrams and Al Roker, who have actually taken cover in their respective hotels. Perhaps it's the same one in an atrium. Al was a little worried, certainly because that atrium is glass on the top. That's not good. The bathroom may actually be the
I'm not
safest
going in
place.
an atrium
Quite
with a
frankly,
tornado coming, no.
I'm not either, Forbes, to be honest with you. That's probably not the wisest move. But either way, you're also looking at John Brown's stream. He has been moving away from the tornado. He was heading down toward it. Then, of course, it was coming right up the interstate at him. He is moving now away from it. He's heading toward Fairfield, and with everything kind of cycling east, he very well may be away from it.
Producer Greg Diamond just handed me that UAB hospital has taken a hit in Bessemer, Alabama, from this thing. So.
Yeah. University of Alabama in Bessemer, the hospital has taken a hit.
University of Alabama Hospital, yes.
And so, as we say, the tornadoes hit Bessemer.
Any details on that, or just a hit?
They're on backup battery right now. They're still trying to confirm this 100%, but it's a possibility they have taken some sort of a hit from this.
Well, as Greg Forbes mentioned, it was going right. I mean, it literally went right over Bessemer, and is now potentially cycling through. Very heavy rain over Birmingham, very heavy rain over Fairfield. That's where John is, and that verified very nicely with his stream as well. And Greg, I guess it's this storm's move. What do you think it's going to do?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to determine right now. It is, and let me slide this. So here you see Birmingham, and up at the very top, maybe it's just off the screen here. Let me zoom in a little bit farther, slide a little bit to the south. So it is done a little bit of a different thing than it has done previously. That hook that's come out has now taken a great big jog in it, as if some of the rain-cooled air is wrapping north there. So the tornado had been in there, I think. Let me step it back. It is changed so much, that actually the previous tornado had been here. I thought there would be a new tornado that would form there, but in the last 5 minutes there has been such a surge off to the north by that probably if there's going to be a new tornado, it may form right in about there. It is getting.
That's a weird.
It is a weird, very complex. No real strong rotation showing up at this time. Maybe a little bit of a circulation left there. The debris signatures are getting very complex to analyze.
But the good news is there aren't anything. There's nothing that's clear like we had before.
Yeah,
step that back to Bessemer. While you're doing that, let's bring Al Roker in again. Al, in Birmingham, taking shelter in an atrium. Al, we don't really feel good about that, to be honest with you.
Well, actually, guys, we're not in an atrium. We are in a ballroom or a series of smaller meeting rooms.
Oh, that's better.
Okay.
That are that can be partitioned off. It's off the main ballroom, but these are interior rooms. And every member of the hotel is off. Stephanie is here with me, as is our Nick Palladino and all of our crew members. We're all here in this one area, and other hotel patrons are in their adjoining rooms. So we're away from the glass. We're away, but they've been announced constantly over the loudspeaker of the hotel. Please take shelter, get out of the atrium, stay inside the ballroom.
Hey, Al, can you hear anything that's going on outside at all? I mean, the heavy rain, the thunder?
Yeah, you can hear the light. You can hear the thunder. You can see the lightning from outside our doors, but you can really hear the thunder even in this interior room right now. It's interesting. When we were walking down, a guy said to me, he goes, "Oh, how come you're not out covering this?" I said, "Because I'm not an idiot." We've got a tornado coming. We're not going out into it.
Especially in the dark and the lightning.
Yeah, in the middle of the night.
Right. Well, stay safe, my friend. How's Steph doing?
Absolutely.
Is she all right?
Steph's doing fine. She's I think she's playing Words with Friends right now. She's tweeting and doing social media. And what are you? Hold on. What are you doing right now? She's checking out the radar right now. So and we're watching you. I'm streaming you on my iPad, watching you right now.
All right, buddy. We appreciate that. We'll check back in with you as the threat potentially passes a little bit later on. But right now, again, Greg Forbes thinking Birmingham is still in the threat zone. So
we know that there's been damage in Bessemer. I've put this intentionally way down at the bottom of the screen here. That when we had the purple debris ball 10 minutes ago. I'll step it forward. We still could see a weakening debris signature with that little dark spot there as it came up just to the north and east of Brighton. Meanwhile, that hook, that rear flank downdraft has surged, kicked out to the east, And then as we go one more step forward, whoops, it's gone. We've had a new scan come in. The next step forward,
whatever that is over
whatever it
Birmingham.
went and is gone, the tornado up around the midfield area and very much weakened. This rear flank downdraft has really surged off to the northeast, and with the new scan coming in, let's see what has happened there.
Is that a result of so much rain cool air doing that?
Yeah, pretty sure. Yeah,
smoke.
given that the fact that the whole storm has a broad scale rotation, it is really changing character. So it is everything is getting very close now to Birmingham.
Yeah, look at the rain over Birmingham. And what's interesting too is if you kind of fast forward that, here's the rain right in through here. It's actually going to get weak, and then you're going to get whatever this thing has to offer, tornado or not.
Yeah, it's raining cats and dogs right now. It'll pause, and then the next will come in, probably accompanied by some gusty winds. Maybe the tornado not looking very intense at the moment. But that said, the remnant of the circulations is sitting right about there, or some kind of a remnant weak circulation sitting right about there, and possibility of an additional circulation that's forming about in here. So looks like we still have
about 4 inches per hour, Jim, at least radar estimated rainfall
4 inches
rates.
an hour over asphalt.
Yeah, that's definitely a flash flood kind of rainfall rate in these metro areas.
Allowed this warning to expire. The Weather Service is going to continue to look for new inflow surges into this storm, but warning is canceled.
Okay, so we are not under a tornado warning at all in Birmingham. Is that what you're telling me?
It's going to be allowed to expire.
Allowed to expire.
Sorry, let me correct that. It's going to be allowed to expire.
At 45?
That goes until, not
until
sure.
11:45 Central.
So
yes.
within 3 minutes, unless something new happens.
Well, and that's what you're saying. You don't see any...
It's definitely is weakened. There's a little bit of very weak remnant circulation there that probably will continue to weaken as it comes up into just west of downtown Birmingham. There may be some new circulation that will come up and go into the Homewood area and over toward the Mountain Brook area, but it is definitely weaker at this point than it has been, and certainly nowhere near as strong as it was when it was down over Bessemer.
And you think, just one meteorologist talking about, this is the rain-cooled air that has kind of cut the legs off of this a little bit.
Yeah, and that is indeed the case, that these high precipitation supercells like this one are very difficult to chase because they cycle so fast. They can very quickly get the rain out to the north and east. That's what put, back in the El Reno situation, that's what put everyone in harm's way there, because things can just evolve so fast, come and go, intensify so quickly, make quick turns. These are just nightmares. These are dangerous storms to track. And of course, at night, this is nothing that you want to be trying to track.
Absolutely not. I see a future Greg Forbes talk coming out of this one. I mean, this is case in point, really.
Yeah,
I mean, like you said earlier, what would normally would take 45 minutes to cycle takes about
10 minutes or so in this case. Yeah, this is a really, really fast evolution.
So for Birmingham, we're going to get another image here in just a couple minutes. Heavy rain, it will cease for a bit, and then maybe not much will happen after that, right?
In fact, rapidly. I don't know if we have a tower cam there, if we're seeing anything, but it probably is in fact lightening up right now.
Actually, it does look like
in Birmingham, and then will probably come down hard again within about 5 minutes, and probably winds will start to blow.
The good news is we got word that our affiliate WVTM in Birmingham is taking their staff and putting them in the basement. So, do as I say, and that's exactly what they're doing as well. We know Al and Stephanie are not in an atrium, but they're actually in a room with 4 walls, and that's great news, out of harm's way in their hotels. So, Birmingham, no stranger to tornadoes.
No, not at all. And on the night of Super Outbreak 2011, on the afternoon, I should say, the tornado did come up from Tuscaloosa, went right up into the north side of Birmingham. So we've had a lot of places today and a lot of people today that are having nightmares, flashbacks to 3 years ago with this kind of a situation, and a high risk issued by the Storm Prediction Center for some of these areas. Torcons of 9 that I've issued for some of these areas. It has been hopefully nowhere near as bad in terms of the outcome, in terms of the destruction that we had almost 3 years ago to the date, but certainly bad enough, and not necessarily through yet either.
All right, positive note.
Now that this situation is kind of winding down just for the moment, we're also tracking another confirmed tornado out of DeKalb and Marshall County. west of Gadsden, Alabama.
Oh wow! Is this thing the lead? That was maybe the lead storm.
I think
made
that
a
is the
cycle.
lead,
or the second one. One of the other.
One of those we've sort of lost track, but certainly. Yeah, one of those I remember was coming to. I think it's the second one that was coming toward the Oneonta area, and now has a little bit of a hook coming into probably about in that location. Yeah, there it is. So it is north and east of Oneonta, and heading off toward the area north and west of Gadsden. Probably right about ready to come across Highway 278, about halfway between Brooksville and the Gadsden area. But it too has a couple of circulations in there. So this one may also be trying to do some cycling with one, the older circulation just off to the west of Altoona, a new circulation trying to form off to the south of Altoona, and both of them heading off toward the north and east. A very dangerous, very complicated night with such rapidly evolving storms. So the very wise issuance of pretty wide tornado warnings here tonight, allowing for the possibility of new circulations to form, and no need to be calling any of this overwarning. Certainly well justified tonight.
You know, we rarely get to do this, but starting from the SPC, which is where I was last couple of days, just doing a wonderful job of these outlooks, going to the National Weather Service with these warnings, which have been absolutely spot on, you know, and down to the local guys and guys like us that are just feeding the information.
Yeah, it's a good partnership.
Great partnership.
The case.
I want to bring in Chris Pallone, who is or Pallone. I'm not sure. I'm sorry, Chris. I'm hearing it over an IFB. Who's on the phone with us? He is from WTVM. And Chris, I got word from my producer that you and your colleagues have actually taken shelter rather than broadcast at this point. Tell us about this.
Yeah, that's right. I actually work for you guys. I flew down here today, but I worked here previously for 11 years, so I've been camped out in the WVTM newsroom all day to watch the developments unfold and figure out where we were going to direct our coverage. And I left here about 2 years ago, so I was here for the major tornado outbreak 3 years ago, and every storm that's come down the pike since about 2000. And this is the first time that I ever remember being moved down to the basement from the newsroom. You know, the newsroom is always the last place to get in the studio, or the last places to get evacuated. And station management here just rounded everybody up and brought everybody downstairs. We're not far from Stephanie and Al. Their hotel is probably 4 or 5 blocks from where we are, and we saw the track of the storm, and they hustled everyone down into the basement. First time I've done that in more than 11 years that I worked here previously.
Hey, Sarah, put Birmingham up if you would, because we want because we're talking. Chris, what do you? I mean, can you hear anything that's going on outside, or see anything that's going on outside?
I actually, they just told everybody they could go back upstairs, so I opened an exterior door, and I'm kind of looking out in the shelter here. And after they told everybody that they could go back upstairs, actually a big gust of wind came through. The trees kind of went sideways for a while. The rain is blowing
that's
sideways.
What Greg was talking about, the gust front.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Right now I'm seeing frequent lightning and some rain right now and some gusts.
Awesome. We love to hear stories like that. Chris, thanks for talking to us, and hopefully, you know, again, as we're Birmingham, that may not be the case in Bessemer. We don't know what actually happened down there, but there was a very strong debris signature, a very strong signature that the storm was rotating, obviously, down there over Bessemer, and that's very, very highly populated. Sarah told us that the hospital has gone on to auxiliary power. We don't know the extent of the damage there either, but now we've basically left over with a big rainstorm and lightning over Birmingham.
Big lightning storm. I was over checking. We're up now to today, 52 now preliminary tornado reports from the Storm Prediction Center. We don't know how many individual tornadoes that is, but this
Do I recall the last couple of days you said we're going to get about 100
I said over the
next
course
2 days?
from Saturday through Thursday, which was the expanse of this weather system, that there'd probably be around 100 tornadoes or so. And unfortunately, we got Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday yet to go, with still Tuesday and Wednesday some pretty active days. So we may, in fact, verify that. And that basically what I was saying was that we were probably getting more tornadoes from this weather system than we had all the prior year, previously in this year.
Are you surprised at what's happened here? I mean, we've literally flipped a switch.
Yeah.
A week ago today, it started with North Carolina. we've pretty much flipped the switch now, and really this is what we expect from an active spring pattern.
Yeah, this is sort of what we expect to have happen in an April weather situation. It took it a while to get going. This one, in reality, could have been a lot worse. We have had more or less a bowling ball that just slowly slogging along. If it was charging a little bit more rapidly east, we might have, instead of talking maybe 52 tornado reports today, might have been talking 100 tornado reports today, because we certainly had the instability. We had certainly the kind of low-level shear that was there, but a lot of the upper low was still off to the west. Yeah,
it was certainly enough, and I think a little bit more widespread. So more tornadoes today.
Oh, we definitely had
weaker
more today
than yesterday's potential long track, and probably what's going to be an EF4.
Yeah, I think we're going to have some strong to violent tornadoes that will be have occurred today, but we certainly had that one yesterday that was a monster.
All right, let's get an update again. Birmingham, no tornado warnings. Thank goodness we dodged one there, but as we get word on what happened to Bessemer and the areas off to the south where Greg showed us the debris signatures, we'll let you know. Let's take us up to Gadsden here.
All right, so we do have a tornado warning for Blount and Etowah counties off to the west of Gadsden. Very complicated kind of radar pattern here that is showing 3 areas of shear, 3 areas of rotation, and probably with a gust front
like showing all night.
We've been showing multiple all night. Show us the radar, the reflectivity from that. It's just a very complicated line of storms with then sort of a dog leg there, a dog leg there. We're getting these little circulations back in the comma head areas along the leading edges, and this is probably the next storm cell that is coming up toward the north and east.
Are these the types of storms that you expect to march across Alabama into Georgia tonight?
Yeah, I think we'll see more and more of this, that rather than these isolated supercell thunderstorms, we'll get more and more of these storms that are embedded in a line that will be marching across east, central, and south parts of Alabama into northern parts of Georgia. Altoona, the Atala, the Sardis City areas, you're under the possibility of tornadoes as this very complex cluster of thunderstorms, I think is probably the safest way to say it here, is spiraling its way up in the area between Oneonta and Gadsden, Alabama.
Sarah, let's go back and look at Birmingham again, folks, if you're just joining us tonight. We've been talking about Atlanta, certainly a threat tomorrow morning. This is moving through. We've been watching Birmingham with a tornado threat, a tornado emergency within the last half hour that has been lifted. Greg watched a very strong signature basically work its way from west of I-20 up through the town of Bessemer, where the hospital has gone on to auxiliary power. We don't know the extent of any damage there, but now what we're seeing is just a huge area of rain and thunder and lightning in the Birmingham area, and really quite a scare here. I mean, we were a cycle or two away from putting a tornado in downtown Birmingham.
Yeah, and I'll go to the high definition radar here and pause it. The bulk of the storm has pushed off now into the northeast suburbs and moving away from Birmingham. That said, there's one little spot here compared to, say, 20 minutes ago when it was kind of a very complicated pattern. We're back here with this particular one to more of a classic supercell thunderstorm. Now, that also said, it does not have extremely strong rotation to it. A little bit of rotation right down at that spot there, and nothing that I believe is showing any, nothing that a brand new scan has just come in, so it's right under the M in Birmingham. Probably the old correlation coefficient is still showing up here. Nothing that looks like we're seeing a debris signature in this. Normalized rotation is showing more or less the broad gust front that is coming out the south side of this thunderstorm away from the body of the storm. So for the most part, we're getting a lot of rain-cooled air that's surging forward. Still, though, not totally out of the woods. It will be out of the woods for Birmingham, but could be coming up toward the Trussville area should this storm cycle once again just to the north of Irondale. A few miles to the north of Irondale, if it begins to cycle, would be where it would do that.
All right, let's see here. Let's take a look at Tennessee and see what's going on up there. Because we remember we had that new tornado watch up there, and you kind of gave me a scare there when you were talking about 2011, where we had all these overnight tornadoes up into Tennessee, and really seems to have gotten a little messed up, a little polluted up there.
Yeah,
so
it's
not as intense.
not nearly as intense of a situation. We do have some storms up in that area that still make you a little bit worried. They have these kidney bean shapes. They're not real big in terms of comparison to the width and the expanse of the storms like we're having down in the Birmingham area. But certainly one of those storms right now is rolling across the Knoxville area up toward Beach Springs area. With no warnings on that, but you could certainly be getting some strong winds and can't totally rule out a possibility of, This one actually looks like a little bit of an arc here, and so this has some multiple, there's a little bit, some chance of coming up to the north and west of Corryton area there, and south and east of La Follette, of a little bit of rotation in that, and so we're not totally out of the woods yet, and we do have a tornado watch that is in effect for this area.
So we'll keep an eye on these, and certainly the trend change. You know what, sir? Let's look at these watches. It's been a while since we've actually seen where these are, and I mean, pretty much from about 75 eastward is where we're going to find Greenville. You're in this, Asheville, all the way down to Atlanta. I know. If we zoom out even further on the watches, you can absolutely see that. So that's going to go until 1.
Right up to the north suburbs
right up to the north
of Atlanta.
suburbs. And then, there's certainly a case to say that we're going to get more action toward tomorrow morning, as our models are saying, long range.
Yeah, we'll just continue to slide along down the line here. Montgomery, the storms right now are near Birmingham. Certainly the threat will be pushing its way toward Montgomery as we head into the overnight hours. The storms still down in southeast parts of Mississippi will slide themselves into southwest parts of Alabama as we head into the overnight hours. Probably the tornado threat slowly diminishing here, but certainly not diminishing to any comfortable level as we go through the overnight hours.
All right, guys. Anything from the desk or from Sarah on Bessemer?
Nothing that I'm seeing here in the chat that I have.
Maybe the desk will find something as all this breaks. And maybe they won't. That would be great.
Yeah, that would be great to find, but I'm afraid that we'll find something. Carrying this forward tomorrow, same kind of a situation setting up again with the heat of the afternoon, moisture coming up, especially from eastern parts of Tennessee over into parts of the Carolinas and parts of the central Gulf Coast states again. We had at least one tornado warning today along a warm front in North Carolina. I have that area outlined again tomorrow in red for a chance of tornadoes. 7 torcon there for southern parts of Alabama. I'm thinking that the biggest activity will probably be sagging south of where it was today, but 6 for Georgia. The tornado threat going up. Western South Carolina, torcons of 6. And then up into torcon values of 5. The tornado threat a little higher tomorrow with some of the upper forcing coming into that frontal zone. I have some red up into areas from Tennessee, Kentucky, up into the Ohio Valley. I'm thinking that it's probably not a real high tornado threat, but it's not a zero tornado threat either. Could be some hail in there. And then as we head into Wednesday, the warm front will be up in the Maryland, Virginia area. Torcon of 5, I'm thinking. 6 in the real warm air in the Carolinas, and 5 down into the southeast to parts of Georgia and across southern Georgia. And even we won't be done by Thursday as I'm seeing it. Not a very high tornado threat, but still some threat coming across southeast Virginia and into the eastern parts of North Carolina, and lower threat of isolated severe, not so much tornado, all the way down into parts of Florida. So a many day siege of severe weather threat from this very slow-moving upper air system.
I even think you, who never takes a day off, is going to be ready for a long weekend.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
After this week, no question about it. All right, guys, let's go back to the radar here and talk about what we got. Flood warnings down to the south, especially where those storms, as Greg is saying, not really driving very quickly off to the southeast. They're just pretty much sitting there, producing very, very heavy rain. Some of these rates we saw earlier, Sarah pointed out, was about 4 inches per hour. I mean, look at that. Just tremendous rainfall. And then a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings, and then an isolated tornado warning or 2. 6-hour rainfall. This is, what is this, 3? This is 3 inches in the yellow?
This yellow is going to be 3 or more, 3 to 5 inches per hour, or 3 to 5 inches over the 6-hour that have occurred in some of these locations.
Look at I-20, Greg. I mean, almost lined up. Yeah. And this is where we saw, that huge HP supercell move from south of Jackson all the way over through western Alabama. Yeah, that one was the one that was a Highway 81 and I-20 there, that it was almost paralleling that, ever so slightly angle its way
across those highways there with a big supercell thunderstorm.
Zoom out a little bit, Sarah. Forbes and I'll try and kind of recap the day where, again, it's not at the 11:30 update. By the time 3 o'clock rolled around, the Storm Prediction Center said, hey, we got a high risk on our hands, and storms just exploded after that. They absolutely exploded, and we had, as Greg says now, what, 52?
52 now is what I'm seeing, preliminary counts from the Storm Prediction Center.
And this is a loop of the reports as they come in, I guess, with a 3 hour?
Yeah, very, very gradual shift of the tornado threats that began mainly in Mississippi and then spread into northern parts of Alabama, spread up into south central, southeast parts of Tennessee, and sagged their way slowly south from initially west of the Jackson area down into the areas south and east of Jackson.
Yeah, and there, we understood, places like Brandon had some damage. Tupelo had extensive damage as well. Louisville in Mississippi sustained extensive damage.
Yazoo City, I think, was one of our earlier tornado warnings. I think the result there was we had maybe just a brief tornado.
A brief touchdown.
The longer we got into the heat of the afternoon and into the evening, the more we got these debris balls and some of these longer-lived rotation signatures.
And up again as we watch the storms transition into Alabama. Let's go over to Alabama because Tuscaloosa, we actually have a new picture as we go on, and we'll bring this back in a second. Trees down, power lines down, Greg Forbes, in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
My guess is
this is probably south side of town.
South or east of the Tuscaloosa area.
Yeah, and we're going to see a lot more of this, guys. Again, a lot of this that's been happening, especially in Alabama, for the most part, with the exception of northern Alabama, has been after sunset. And a lot of it's been this evening. We've gone into the late evening hours, midnight beyond now in these areas. So a lot of this will be unfolding, especially what's happening to the south of Birmingham and the town of Bessemer, which we understand, at least from what we saw from that debris ball, took a big hit.
Certainly looks like there's going to be some significant damage in there. That view we had of the lines down might very well have been Bear Creek Road there, south of Tuscaloosa. Sarah had put up a storm report from there.
It gets confirmed, Bear Creek Road.
The Graysville Kangaroo gas station has had some damage there. That one we remember talking about Graysville.
We don't have a lot of the reports here yet.
Off to the north and west of Birmingham, Alabama. We talked about Graysville. That was one of the areas that had a debris ball signature.
But how many towns did we see that, whether it be the 74 outbreak or the 2011 that were under the wire today? Yeah,
quite a few. We certainly had Philadelphia.
Cullman,
we had Cullman.
Bruin,
we had Smithville. You name it. There were somewhere very close to many of the locations that got hit by the violent tornadoes in April 27th, 2011, were under threat today.
All right, Gadsden, do you think they're going to deal with anything, or is any threat going to go north and west of Gadsden?
Well, it looks as if probably very close to the west of them, but this is kind of a little bit of a disorganized storm with some probably one of these inflow bands coming to the greatest threat area. Would look like it's probably right about here, probably going to go ever so slightly to the west of Gadsden. Would be my guess. Well, it's got some pretty decent rotation on it there, as you can see. This first one will in all likelihood go up west of Gadsden. But this is, I believe, now the strongest storm that we have ongoing in terms of having a rotation signature. It's up south of Altoona, Alabama, heading right across Highway 132, about ready to cross Highway 278 and head north and west. It will probably even go north and west of the Reese City area. Looks like it's going to get somewhere in between Reese City and Sardis City as it heads off toward the north and east. And Sardis City is mentioned in the National Weather Service warning there. So still one big swirling tornadic thunderstorm, or at least potentially tornadic thunderstorm. The Hopper, the Atala, the Reese City, the Scrouge-out areas, I guess it's pronounced, in the possibility of tornado.
Yeah, and a lot of those areas are going to get weather, with that little inflow, and then it'll clear out, and then whatever may be the tornado is going to come in on the backside of that. So multiple rounds of weather before the big show comes in. Greg, anything you want to say that's come to mind about today?
Well,
I mean, it's kind of eerie, certainly, when you look at 2011 and some of the comparisons. But what stands out to you in this?
Yeah,
this day?
What stands out is, again, in this, like one day after 3 years ago, we had a number of debris balls. We saw some very long-lived supercells, not quite as strong as the super outbreak of 2011. but certainly something that I'm sure brought back bad memories, might be causing psychological problems for a lot of the people that have just begun to recover, get their lives back together from what happened 3 years ago. So our hearts go out to them. Our hearts go out to the folks in Arkansas from yesterday and to all of the places that have been hit today by tornadoes.
All right, the threat continues for the rest of the night and into tomorrow, and as Greg showed, into Thursday as well. Stick around, guys. We'll continue to cover this breaking weather for you live on the Weather Channel all night long. Thanks for watching.
A dangerous day in the south turning into a very dangerous night. A strong line of storm still on the radar, and we still have severe warnings out there. We have a tornado watch still in effect, extending anywhere from eastern Tennessee into parts of North and South Carolina, all the way to the Gulf Coast. Some of these watches go all the way till 7 o'clock in the morning.
And what you're seeing right here, all of this is part of a multi-day threat. Already, several tornadoes like this one right here in Tupelo. The Weather Channel is your home for complete coverage to get you through this threat. We'll be here with you for the rest of the night and through the entire threat all day tomorrow. This is a special edition of Weather Center Live. I'm Chris Warren.
And I'm Kim Cunningham. We are in the middle of what has been the most active severe weather day of the year. And at this hour, authorities may have confirmed as many as 7 deaths in Mississippi alone.
And there is still a big threat out there tonight, and it will go on for days yet. Let's take a look right now at one of the more serious storms that we're following right now. This is a tornado warning that we're looking at here. And you can see Chilton, Coosa counties, Goodwater is one of the cities there involved. This goes until 1:15.
That's right. And Chris, we've had already over 50 reports of tornadoes today. Again, this tornado warning extending until 1:15 Central Time. It is moving towards the northeast, and we can expect with this the possibility of very strong winds at the least. Then we're going to see the possibility of a tornado as well. If you're in Goldwater, it'll get to you by 12:52 Central Time. Again, possibly a tornado with this thunderstorm. There's rotation being indicated on radar that we possibly have a tornado. Now let's find out what we can expect through the rest of the night into tomorrow. Here's Chris.
Yeah, and Kim, we are going to watch this multiple days. Really started in earnest last night, and we're going to still see things going through midweek, possibly a little bit later than that. This is a look right here at the overall system where we're seeing all of the rain, storms, and within that, the tornado warning that Kim was just showing right here. Also looking at some severe thunderstorm warnings. There's multiple threats over multiple days. Of course, tornadoes. There's also going to be a threat for lightning, a lot of lightning associated with these. And then all the heavy rain brings the threat for some flooding throughout parts of the southeast. Could see a lot of rain, and flash flooding will be a concern. Here's a look at how things are going to work through tomorrow. You have this deep moisture, the low. It's a slow mover. This is why we're dealing with a multi-day threat as the cold front slowly moves across the southeast. And then eventually it's going to move all the way into the eastern seaboard, bringing that threat for some severe weather, including tornadoes. For tonight, still looking at that threat for some storms, eventually getting over to parts of northern Georgia and dealing with a bigger area tomorrow. Much of Georgia into South Carolina, North Carolina. Then by Wednesday, dealing with the threat for some storms in North Carolina, Virginia. Thursday, the biggest storm should be out here, but you're still dealing with a few scattered storms on Thursday. This is a multi-day threat. Tornadoes are a huge concern tonight. Still 7 out of 10 on the Torcon here, and southern Alabama a 6 out of 10. And looking through the rest of tonight, North Georgia and East Tennessee a 6 out of 10. So the Torcon is a 6 out of 10, or a 60% chance of seeing a tornado within 50 miles of your location if you're in these areas, North Georgia or East Tennessee. And then the threat for tomorrow, southern Alabama a 7 on the Torcon. Again, this only goes up to 10, so these are pretty big numbers, and we're going to see